Hello Neighbor. I've been hearing back from quite a few of you, especially from around the time of the full moon just passed. Lots of good feedback, lots of just checking in to see how I am, which is really nice and really thoughtful. So today, my brother's just handing me a drink, which is nice. So today, and he says hello to the community. Today, we are basically talking about well, we're doing a Hello Neighbor, which is a check in and which is a wide variety of topics which we don't always know beforehand. But it is still a community check in. So let's just see what's going on. Let's also do a little bit of a wind down from the full moon. Let's talk a little bit about upcoming alignments and so on and so forth. Now, I think the internet is doing a thing. So I am going to give you a little bit of time and hopefully, am I even broadcasting? We'll see. Let me just double check. No, I've opened up a video. Hang on. Where is everybody today? Now, one of you told me that you had already been doing all of the right stuff, being subscribed and so on and so forth, and you just got absolutely no notification. So internet is doing something. Okay, I see some people. All right, we are broadcasting. We are doing things. Hello, Sabine. Lovely to see you. And the numbers are going up. We have people coming in, which is why I like taking a little bit of time to let the internet do its whatnot and let people show up anyway. So let's just do a quick hellos to see who we got here. Hello, Sabine. Hello, Truth is True Love. Hello, I am. Hello, Mitri. Hello, Chiron. Lovely to see everybody. So today, hang on. Let's spend a minute of saying hi to people. Hi Sarah, hi Tara, hi Magneto, hello neighbors, hello everyone. So today we are going to be talking about, first of all, a wind down from the full moon just passed. And we're also going to be talking about what we can look forward to in the next couple of days. It's a very intense time, as I'm sure. And of course, we're going to do our general community check in. And let me just see if baby wants to say hello. Hang on. Bear with me. Hop. Want to say hello, baby? Want to say hi? Want to say hi? Baby is not being particularly camera social, but we got her anyway. She says hello. Oh, God. Baby, why? She's okay. So, all right. Hello, Valerie. Hello, Adrienne. So good to see everyone. So the full moon just passed was pretty intense. That was why I did the sibling special on trauma with my brother before, the full moon actually hit, because I figured there's going to be something coming up for a lot of people. And the more I processed this moon, and in fact, I'm still processing this moon, the more I processed it, I was able to pinpoint it to when I was remembering or feeling deep emotions I hadn't thought about in years. For me, it was very much stuff that had occurred in January 2017. Collectively, that was the time that not the current president, but the previous president of the United States got inaugurated. It was also the time of the death of my then father in law, someone whom I cared about deeply. And his death created a ripple of events that completely changed my life and my path. But it was also a very traumatic experience. And I didn't realize I was feeling that till I could actually pinpoint the date and pinpoint the when and the how. And I went, oh God. So when I looked back at those alignments, I saw that Therius, the hunter stalker, was at 27 degrees of Cancer, precisely where the previous full moon just passed was. So it was no surprise. I was looking back at the past 5 years to see how trauma, how death, how different experiences have really changed my relationship with myself, my understanding of path, of family, of emotion, of where I belong, if anywhere at all. And that's really been what has been on my mind as of late. But looking at the alignments coming in front as well, coming ahead as well, I see that there's going to be a fair repetition of these same themes in the upcoming full moon later in the month of February. We're going to be seeing more of the same themes echoed yet again during the March full moon, all because they are at very similar degrees of each subsequent sign. I really just feel that the first 3 months of this year is going to be a lot about churning and processing and coming to terms with things at a mental, emotional, psychological, and spiritual level. I mean, given the fact that Jupiter is in Pisces, one should not be that surprised about all of this. But there is something that I wanted to give you a heads up on. One of the reasons why I wanted to do a Hello Neighbor, just because, as you know, when there are strong Thereus alignments, or in this case, a memory of Thereus alignments, things tend to kick my butt. And when things kick my butt, they kick my butt pretty hard. And so I just wanted to make sure that you had the information in advance, just in case I wasn't able to do a live or something like that. So let me just say it for you here. Just drawing up the exact thingamabobbers. So one of the key alignments that I want you to be very, very aware of in the next couple of days is, I had it here. Oh, hang on, just give me a sec. Just give me a sec. I'll be with you in a sec. Where did you go, buddy? Where did you go? Looking through a lot of things. Okay. Yeah. Nearly there. Okay, the first thing I want you to be very aware of is the Sun squared Uranus. Now that can be something that can be a really good thing for some people. It can be a really bad thing for other people. That's going on and happening on the 30th of January. Sun squared Uranus can, give a lot of breakthroughs, but at the same time, it can also bring about a lot of breakdowns. That's very important as well. The 31st of January, we see Eros, fellow who shoots around his arrow, magical arrows of attraction, which I would say generates karma in many ways. That fellow is going to be at 7 degrees of Pisces, opposite Thereus, the hunter stalker, at 7 degrees of Virgo. That's the 31st. Moon at 12 Aquarius, on the same day that we see Venus conjuncting Vesta, the priestess. So in and of themselves, those are fairly powerful alignments. And of course, last but not least, we also see February 2nd, we see Jupiter conjunct Eros, shooting all these arrows everywhere, opposite Cereus, the hunter stalker. So this particular time frame, I would say, is something that I want all of you to be aware of, all of you to have a heads up on, just because it can be a very unpredictable sequence of events, a very unpredictable energy that just carries you on a wave. And I just wanted to make sure that you had the information in case I got knocked out by stuff. In fact, you could say that this actually starts January 29th, when Venus stations direct and Jupiter conjuncts Eros on the same day. So there is this bubble, January the 29th to February the 2nd, that I want you to be very aware of what you are being drawn to, whether it's in the name of service, healing, past life karmas, whatever words you are using to justify things. I need you to really look at what you're being pulled to or called to at that time and ask yourself if this is really a necessary part of your soul's journey, or is it old karmic wine being recycled in shiny psychedelic colored bottles that you could probably, I don't know, put on the blockchain or something. So this is the kind of time where you have to be very careful with what you are letting in. Sometimes it can come through a facilitator or a facilitation. Sometimes it can come through a type of medical intervention that hasn't been tested or is being incorrectly applied. Sometimes it can come through letting in someone you think is a soulmate, but turns out to be some kind of thief or murderer or whatever. But there are a lot of possibilities that can happen. So just in case I'm not able to speak to you then, January the 29th to February the 2nd, consider yourself as having been informed. There's a lot of energy that, one can be using towards setting intentions of greater growth, greater expansion, connecting to people. But at the same time, if you choose the wrong people or if you choose the wrong experiences, that's not going to be the best thing that you want to manifest or you want to experience, I should say. So just be careful. January the 29th to February the 2nd, some of you may also experience this through very strong symptoms associated with psychic oppression for some people, psychic awakening for others. For some, it's the same thing. It can also very strongly connect to your relationship with your health, especially if you're, kind of pushing yourself too hard or if you're burning the candle at both ends. But I just want you to be aware, be aware, be aware, because very few people, if at all, will even give you this information. If you do have any, places or things in your home where maybe, the flooring's a little uneven or you haven't really looked at the wiring you should have looked at, just get all of that stuff done now. Theranos has a way of tripping a person up when they least expect it. So, just bear that in mind. There's stuff coming up that you want to be aware of. So, having said that, that's the first thing I wanted to do. Let's continue saying hellos to the people here. Chiron says meow. Anuparama says God here just in time for baby. That's good. We Stormfelt which said had to restart their phone. Okay. Mishi says Cupid. Haha. Scorpio Moon says peace, love, blessings, and neighbors. Tamalan says finally caught you. Hey, Dr. B. Hey, Tamalan. Hello. Grace says greetings, Dr. B and community. Oh, snap, Therius Talks. I should call them that. That's a catchy name, Therius Talks. But no, don't worry. We're done with that. We're done with that. But I wanted to give all of you a heads up. All right? Heads up. January the 29th to February the 2nd. I'll also be repeating this because I know not everybody watches every video, and that's fine. That is totally fine. Tamalan says, I love that you pronounce my name properly. I do my best. Jolie says, hello. Hi, Jolie. Hi, Dawn. Hi, hello, everyone. So, I appreciate it. So, that was the first thing I wanted to tell all of you. In addition to how a lot of the energies in the present and in the now can go back to what Therius was doing to us personally and collectively in January 2017. So look back 5 years and see where you are now, and look at what you are processing. If you're wondering, what am I feeling? I don't know what I'm feeling. Where is this coming from? Go back 5 years. You may find the answer you're looking for. But yeah, that was what I wanted to say, to be honest, like the most important bullet point, what needed to be said. Tree Essence says, hello, surviving COVID here. Hope the rest of you are all staying healthy and safe. Hope you get well soon. Hang in there, hang in there. If you haven't watched it already, I do have a Netflix recommendation for everyone. Watch Death to 2021. It's a mockumentary. It's got a lot of wit, a lot of satire. So, if you're not into that type of humor, give it a miss. But if you like British humor in particular, you will enjoy this. Zen Steel says, hi, Dr. B. Hello. Fiorella says, thank you. You're most welcome. Yeah. Now, in case you're wondering, why is this woman getting beaten up so much all of the time, especially as of late? Well, I have a Therius in Virgo, and I am experiencing a very strong activation in my own chart. So I'm not surprised. It's a case of take it every day. If you can get up today, that's a win. That's good. If you can go and wash your cup, that's a win. So I'm just taking it very, very slow every single day, and that's the best I can do. So, some sessions have needed to be pushed. Some are just happening at midnight because Spirit says, up now, go time. So, that is what's happening. I am going to be, technically it's already on the website, but I am going to be like officially doing a launch of a new session. I wanted to let you know about that. That will be more of a direct energetic facilitation, and I'm going to be talking about that more, especially after February the 2nd, just because I want this window with Therius to close somewhat. And hopefully, we may have a couple of days out somewhere, because I think I just need to smell a little bit of different air for a change. And I think the girls are a little bit cooped up, so we're going to find somewhere cheap to go to and hopefully spend a couple of days there and just breathe a little bit, which is very important. It can get kind of claustrophobic. So Grace says, after the last live, I went and drank 2 London fogs over a few days, and it messed up my belly. So our house got oat milk for another foggy time. Oat milk sounds good. Oat milk sounds good. So, is there anything that anyone would like to talk about today on as part of our Hello Neighbor community check-in, seeing how people are, seeing what's going on? Grace says, I'm just going to stay with my Taiwanese oolong roasted to black tea. I was thinking about you, Grace. I ordered this nice little thing on, it's a local restaurant. It's got some nice Malaysian stuff. And they do this really lovely black tea. And they do it right, so it's not too bitter. So I was actually thinking about you. I was like, this tea is perfect. Damn it, I can't send it to Grace, but anyway. And Adrian says, can you remind us how to look up terrorists in our chart? It is easy. Go to astro.com and there you put in your data and you go to extended chart selection. So towards the bottom of the page, there will be a header that says additional objects. And in the box for additional objects, you type in 32532, which is Therius's number. I have it on speed dial. So, highly recommend that. Highly, highly recommend that. So let's see. What else do we have going on? Three essences that sound so good. Oh, 32532. 32532. You're missing a 3. Oh, welcome. I mean, I'm still working on the Therius book. I think Therius is pushing me very hard because he doesn't want me to write that book, but I am working as best I can on it, living through it day by day, seeing what happens. But yeah, let's see. So what else do we have going on with the community? Feel free to let me know. Jesus. Therius is opposed Neptune. How does the influence? You mean Jupiter or Neptune? Which you mean, honey? Therius is going to be opposite Jupiter in Pisces. But it creates a big influence. I mean, when I look at collective events, this guy is usually doing something. With Jupiter and Eros in Pisces, it means that people are going to be even more drawn to find ways to try and open themselves to different things and different influences and so on and so forth. Whether it's through drugs, whether it's through facilitation, whether it's through any kind of substance, whether it's escapism, whether they think they're connecting with God. Whatever you're doing at this time, especially if you're looking at it for the sake of stimulation or for the sake of expansion itself, that opens a door to covert or hidden predation. So, for example, I was just talking about this with a client I just had. I was saying, well, I have nothing against using plant medicine that is being properly administered by a person who knows what they are doing. But there are tons of people who go to plant medicine with people who don't know what they're doing. And then, well, they kind of come about a year later going, I had this experience. It was terrible. And then they have to go and clear all kind of things out of their field. Another influence, if someone, just directly does, whether they use alcohol, whether they use drugs you find by some guy in a street corner and they try to use that to open up, I say that's not very safe because it also brings a great level of unpredictability. You don't know what you are accessing and allowing to access you. The same applies as well, even if you find facilitation. Like I'm like you in the sense that I go get readings, I go get, different readers or different psychics or different people that have a different view on what I see as my perspective. In the sense that, it's not like I don't ever listen to anybody else. It's a case of I actually go and find people who have no idea who I am to see if I can get an independent point of view. Had a pretty bad reading recently. And I knew that if I were to take any of that crap in, I would have a terrible experience of life. And I also got it checked checked and verified with 2 other people. And they're like, nah, that person is just, I don't know what they're talking about. But it's the case of, it's like, even when you are looking for healing, even when you are looking for answers, even the thing that you think may be trying to help you or heal you may accidentally open a door that you didn't realize or you didn't see. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not doing sessions at that time, because I refuse to be used as a gateway for that dude. I know. In fact, I'm already looking at October 15th, later this year, when Therius will be squared my Saturn. when the great attractor is, and I'm just like, I got to be careful at that time. I do not want to be used by someone to go and hurt somebody else, because it happens sometimes, especially when a client has, shall we say, energies that do not like me particularly. They literally will be pushing the client towards me, even though I can tell they don't actually want to heal. And I'll be like, I'm not the right person to work for you. Please take this and go. But it's just a means of getting access. And I have literally seen so many facilitators get jacked live. Like they'll be totally fine while they're talking to me, but when they actually start trying to read for me, something else enters their system, and it's often not a good thing. So that's also the kind of thing that can happen at a metaphysical or esoteric sense. You know, you can use it to do deep healing, but you have to be absolutely sure. And no one, I repeat, no one is absolutely sure about anything. And anyone tells you that, you got to see what else they're selling. At a physical level, it can also mean there's a lot more vulnerability through food, through basic things that you might do every day. You need to look at your gut health. You need to look at your mental health. The two are very, very related. You also need to be looking at the psychic cleanliness of your environment, of what is inside you, of what you imbibe, of the air you breathe. All of that stuff needs to be looked at. So, really, a focus on purity, cleanliness, however you can manage it, would be the best way forwards. Keep things clean. You don't need to open any doors at this time. That would be my advice. Jolene, I can't see your message anymore. Grace says, um, wondering which session to do with you now. You have so many options. That's a good question. Well, if you're flexible with funds and time, you can book a 45-minute session. My approach is, if I do under, I refund you the difference. So you're not going to go wrong with that. I mean, there are people who've booked huge sessions, and I've just needed 15 minutes and just send back the rest. No, I'm not going to hold on to something that's not mine. So, you just book something and trust we go with the flow from there. But if you're not sure, you can also just drop me a line and I can advise you which would be the best. And yes, if you ever wind up in Malaysia, if the shop is still open, let me know when, and I can tell you when. Hang on. Anuparama asked, Stereos is a mirror number? Wouldn't it be 32523 if it was a mirror number? But I get where you're coming from. It's not a perfect mirror, but it does look that way, doesn't it? But yeah, and for those of you who are interested more so in the energy facilitations, that is probably best when you've already done a couple of rounds with me or other facilitators you trust, and you basically just want something which helps you align better without necessarily having to go through the intellectual aspects of the work. But it's better if you've already done a fair amount of work for yourself, and if you haven't, I will know. Tamalan says, my Therius is on a cusp. That's fun, lol. I hear you. My Therius is so activated in my chart. It's just like, oh, good God, what was I thinking? But that's why I get to bring the information to you. So, haha. So, do we have any other questions, my friends? Do we have any other questions or comments or things that are happening in your lives that you want to share? Just giving you a minute. In the meantime, hang on. Tamalan wants to know how's the girls. The girls are okay. My baby has taken the habit of staring very intensely outside, so she's doing her guard cat duty. She just patrols around the house and she just stares like this. So that's what she's doing. Lucky Cat is being cute and cool, which is what she does. Yana, do you think Lucky wants to say hello? Let's see if she's being social. Anona says, my kittens are officially teenage relations. Is there a big difference in behavior? Tree Essence says, my dog has been to, we call her Scotland Yard when she's on duty. That makes sense. My brother is just seeing if we can get a special rare guest appearance from Miss Lucky. Lucky likes hiding under the table, and she's kind of rearranged boxes to make a little nest for herself. So because she likes the seclusion and privacy. We call it Catarctica, the hottest cat club in town. So she likes hiding in Catarctica. And it's funny when she, if I'm like asleep or I'm just lying down or something, she will come and look at me. And the moment I look back, she'll turn around and she'll look at me from a distance. Is Auntie okay? Okay. So that's what that. So the girls are doing their thing, but they know stuff is up. I can tell. We can tell. They know stuff is up. You know. So we're just also keeping an eye on them and hopefully dealing with the alignments as they come up. As they come up. So I gotta ask, since it's Venus retrograde, any of you have exes that have tried to come back into your lives? Let me know. Oh, did you find her?
Yeah, it's hiding on eukaryotes.
I see. Is she wanting to come out and say hello?
See, you want to pull her out?
I can't pull her holding the phone. Hang on.
There you go. Come
We
on.
might have. Okay. Jolene says, hi, Dr.
No,
P.
actually, I have
Sorry.
to fight to
Oh,
bring her
hang
out.
on. Anona says, is that why these men have been sliding back into my life? Haha, probably. Karen says, yeah, in the actual worst possible way long. Oh, I'm sorry. Jolene asks, was about perspective difference between what's not ours. Oh, okay. So Jolene asked an interesting question. Now, people say, yes, you are one with everything. Okay, fine, I get that, right? But at the same time, we also need to know what's your stuff and what's not your stuff. And, oh, wait, we have a cat. Hang on. Hi, baby. I got you. I got you. I got you. Come say hello to your adoring fans and public. Yeah. Yeah. Hang on. Hello. You want to say hi to your fans? Oh, look at that face. Want to hi to your fans? Your fans need you. Lucky. Look at your fans, baby. Well, she's posing. So, Tamalan asks you to talk. Are you purring? You okay? Look how good she's sitting. Look how well she's sitting. Yes, you like it? Michi wants to know how you are. Anything else for your fans? She's posing, I can tell. By this point, she would have like, good job, girl. So yes, Lucky Cat has shown her face. So it's a very good question, actually. The difference between being at one with all things versus actually being able to discern what's yours and what's not yours. The thing is, that's true for different levels of consciousness. Let me give you an example. All right. So this table that my computer is sitting on, it feels solid. So from the perspective that we live at, saying that this table is solid is absolutely true. However, if you were to go in close into the table, you're going to find things that are not solid. You're going to find things that are not static. You're going to find billions or however many billions or millions of atoms and subatomic particles that are constantly moving around that basically are just space being held together by bonds that, on from this perspective, may not necessarily seem that strong at all. But, so from where we sit, this is static, this is solid. But when you look at it from a different perspective, everything is in constant movement. And both statements are absolutely true. So the problem with that statement, we are one with everything, is that it refers to a level of consciousness that is different from our everyday life and reality. Because if everyone was absolutely one with everything, you could allow in anyone into your life to have access to your bank balance, your partner, anything that you value and cherish, and still be okay with it. Unless you are really willing to live at that level of consciousness with everybody around you, that's not practical in the here and now. So that is an experience which I think, and I don't like talking about this too much because people get very excited when talking about it, but it's a natural part of life. But I think I have felt that experience where I literally could not tell the difference between myself. And I think the object I was touching was a TV in moments of very, very heightened awareness. But that's not awareness that you live at the 3D level. So they're both true. They're just not true in the same spaces, if that makes sense. And I hope that does. Um, okay. Tamerlan says releasing fantasies and vices and cutting ties. Very good. Michi says very subtle, like tiptoe back in my life. Aha, right? Jolie says astro question when looking at transits. Placidus looks different from whole sign, okay, when viewing houses being affected. Any tips on which version to stick to? I have found Placidus to resonate best with me, but I encourage you to look at both and follow the path that looks best for you. I cannot say that my path is the best path. I can tell you that I resonate best with what I see because I see that it fits the data. And at the end of the day, if I'm telling you something, it's because I've looked at the patterns and see if it correlates. So in your life, see which house system correlates best. Don't try to twist the data. Just see which data gives you a clear, or which method gives you a clearer way of interpreting the data. Um, Tree Essence says, X's no. Energetic communication from those I haven't felt a presence from in a while. Yes, makes sense. Jolie says, and yes to Venus and X's. Adrian says, hell no, they know better. And comments on Kitty Kitty. Oh. Dawn says, I had a cat named Lucky. She was lovely. When I took my cat Mulan to the vet today, the song called I'm Up All Night to Get Lucky came on. I feel she was saying hi. Aw. Jersey says, peace. Aw. Angelina says, greetings to all the beautiful peeps. Greetings, greetings. Jolene says, yes, thank you. It's confusing lately, but different levels of consciousness came to mind. Excellent. Jolie says, great. I'll stick to Placidus. Thank you. Most welcome. Okay. Dawn says, my life is quite stressful at the moment. I just remembered you and your brother done a video the other day. I'm going to watch it after this live as I think I need to hear your hard truths. That's more me. My brother tends to laughingly and jokingly say it, which I don't know which one is harder to hear, but Scotty Boy says, howdy neighbors. Howdy, Scotty. How are you doing? So, um, yeah, that's what's about. That's what's up. That's what's about. For those of you just joining, please go back to the start of the video as well, where I talk about some very key alignments between January the 29th to February the 2nd. They are very important times to look at health and harmony and balance and to not let weird shit into your life and the life of your loved ones. So January the 29th to February the 2nd, quite a few things happening. Please go back earlier to the first part of this discussion if you're just joining. Okay. Do we have any questions for the now or experiences people would like to share and so on and so forth? Oh, Valerie says some people circling back but feeling clear on the ties that were cut and cutting some more. Still finding it challenged to be in body and not feeling walked creatively. Thank you for all you share. You're most welcome. Remember, honey, we talked about this. This is probably Venus retrograde, probably. And that's only going direct on the 29th. And like I said, you need to give a couple of days for the Therius transits to also pass. So it should come back, but it'll probably take a little bit of time. That's very important. Let's see. What else we got going on? Giving you all a minute. Otherwise, I go get on doing other stuff. I knew it was going to be you, Tamalan. I knew it. I've been doing a lot of grieving and sitting with the idea life isn't going to be pleasurable all the time, and trying to find the purpose of those moments can be difficult. Understood. Did you ever have the idea that life was going to be pleasurable all the time? I literally have never had that concept in my life. I like, wow. But it is cool that, okay, that's cool. But it's hard to, it's like, Navalan says no. Tree Essence says, my plants seem to be loving their energy. They're all popping new leaves. That's really good. That's good. Valerie says, thank you. You're most welcome, Valerie. Yeah, I mean, I. Tamalan says, it deserves to be, though. I hear that. I hear that. Unfortunately, pain is a very powerful teacher, but sometimes it does go on way too far. Sometimes it goes on way too far and way too long. And you kind of wonder, hey, I already got the lesson to this. Why is this continuing? But I hear you. I hear you. It's sometimes very hard to find the reason, especially when you go through prolonged pain. And that's why you need to find things that are beautiful in life. Something that makes you smile, something that, brings joy, whether it's a garden, whether it's a child, whether it's a cat child, in my case, whether it's music. Those are the things that make life worth living in so many different ways. And for everybody, it's going to be a different thing. That's one of the reasons why we do this. And I know that so many of you write in now more so, and you write in to say that these hello neighbors in particular have helped, get you through a very difficult year, or just made you feel a little less lonely in very difficult times. And I'm glad to be able to do that. But those are the little things through the tough times. And hopefully, this is something that does help people, which is why I do it. But yeah, I can tell you, Venus retrograde has hit me quite hard, in the sense that physically is one way, but also in terms of finances. I don't know how many sessions I canceled this month. Health was one concern, but people who really did not, it was either not the right time or I was just not the right person for them. They kept coming and I kept, having to say no. Looking at my bank balance, I'll be like, no, I still have to say no anyway because it's not right. So it's been a big test of just sometimes saying no to things, even on the surface, if it looks like a good thing. It's just been, I can't hold on to something that's not really mine and not really meant for me. So there's those experiences have been coming and I've been following them, and there've also been some nice surprises here and there. So that's, life has a way of hopefully balancing things out. Tamalan says the world doesn't have to suck. It doesn't, it really doesn't. Angelina says I could use some words of encouragement. Person very close decided to abort a baby that's fully formed. Ooh. Hmm. That's a very sensitive issue. I mean, hmm. Are you looking for encouragement for yourself, or are you looking for encouragement? Oh, okay, you said you're not with it. I get it, but at the end of the day, that baby has the strongest connection to its biological point of origin at this state in its life. The only thing you can do is to ask them why, and see if that is something that helps them make a decision about it or not. I mean, I don't think it's anyone's place to judge. I can understand that it's a very painful experience, but this is literally between that child and the vessel that it chose to come in. So, yeah, it's the best thing that you may be able to do is, if that person is not willing to hear, the best thing that you may be able to do is detach. And if they go through with it, say prayers for the soul of the child to come back in a vessel that is willing, if the child wants to come back. It's not your decision, as he said. So don't take it on board. Do what you can, offer support when it is done, if that is the way it goes. And it's very hard because sometimes I see people I care about and I see them making decisions I know is going to hurt them, but I can't interfere because it's not my life. Everyone is here to make their decisions, good or bad. And the thing about having any kind of spiritual insight, especially if you're a facilitator, especially if this is what you do, you can't meddle. You can't meddle in people. Even if you think you know what's better for them, even if your way is better for them, you can't, because that takes away from their experience. So, yeah, I understand it's hard, but you also have to know what is the limits of your own role and, you know, place. Yeah, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. Nahia says, yeah, that's been a message of 2021. Understood. Nahia says, what happens with me to not give someone a reading? What does that? Can you rephrase the question? Like, I'm not entirely sure what exactly is the question, or maybe perhaps you could say it in a different way. Be Stormfelt, which has been aborted in a previous life. Drowning is way, way worse if it helps. Hmm. Adrienne said, I just saw that Meatloaf and Louis Anderson passed away. Louis Anderson, oh wow. Okay. Meatloaf, I think, I knew him for maybe that one song, but okay, things are happening. Things are happening. And people are going to grieve. And that's part of also Jupiter and Pisces season. So let's see what else comes up. So, what else do we have going on in the community today? Mm. Oh, okay. Now, here wants to know, is there a feeling I get to not give someone a reading? Um, it's hard to put it into words. It's like literally there may be a client whose session is 2 weeks down the road, but I just know that they need it right now. And I'll call them even if it's midnight my time and I'll be like, oi, we need to do this now. And they'll get it done. And it's just sometimes I just know I may not be the right person. And that is also okay because there's no one is a one size fits all, one stop facilitation for everybody on the planet. That's just not the way it works. So sometimes you just know. I might get guidance on what the person needs or where they could find a better experience that is more relevant to what they need right now. So I send them to people whom I know may be able to give them what they need right now. Because I think one of the most important things, I think one of the most important things any facilitator needs to know is sometimes it is really not your task, it is really not your job, and you may not be the right person for that person. And as far as I know, I mean, I haven't heard of other facilitators doing this. It's funny that, some people may try to project the whole money thing on me, but honestly, I think I probably give more refunds for either unused time or just, nope, not the right person than probably a lot of people in the field. Just because it's so important for me to make sure that the person is led to where they need to go. Not for my aggrandization, not for my personal, pocketbook or whatever. Not that I have a pocketbook, but you know what I mean. Christine says she called me at 3 a.m. Malaysia time. She speaks the truth. Thank you. I appreciate it. But it's a case of you just know. You sometimes you just know, and it's so important to be able to say that because honestly, when someone can see that as an act of respect for the work and for the client and for themselves, at some point it might be the right time to work with me, and the person will just come back then with a better appreciation for the way the work is done. And that's what I have found. That's what I have found. It's never a case of, oh no, I don't like your face. I just don't want to see your face. Go away. It's never a case of that. Um, it's always a case of, okay, so am I the right person for this soul to talk to at this time? So, yeah, that's how that goes. But yeah, what else we got going on? Oh, Zen Steel says, I thought my favorite orchid plant was no longer alive, but once I inspected it, I noticed healthy roots and spikes growing. It was almost like a metaphor representing my life right now. That's really good. I like it. Someone else also said plants are doing really well at this time. That's good. That's good. I am happy to hear that. Outside, we still have our magnificently growing noni tree. Um, and we've got our acacia, and sometimes now I see things that look like squirrels, but they have very long noses like this running about. So that's interesting. That's what's happened. Our garden's been taken over. Um, that's good. But anyways, if there's nothing else, I think I'm going to wrap this up and call this done. Again, for those of you just arriving, please go back to the very beginning where I talk about some key dates and alignments between January the 29th to February the 2nd that I want all of you to be very aware of as they involve Terius, the hunter stalker. So, Stormfeld, which sends a heart. Thank you. Michi says perhaps a ferret. It's not a ferret. It looks a lot like a squirrel, just a very long nose. Oh, hang on. We got stuff. Okay. Tree Essence says, taking care of my plants while listening to insight is the dose of medicine I needed. Thank you. Most welcome. Now, yes, it's taking clarity. Most welcome. Valerie says, how do you know when you're picking up collective energy versus your own things are resurfacing, especially now? Where I live, the political rhetoric is adding more paranoia and hate in the last week. The energy feels volatile. It's a very good question. I'll answer this one and then I'll head off. So, for me, and I can only talk about my experience, I find that when there is a collective energy, it doesn't feel like it's part of my field. I am sensing it, but it's not coming from within me or something that's very close to me. So for me, even if it hits me very directly, even if it hits my body very directly, it's like the starting point is different. It is outside. Whereas for something that is like, say, a mental health issue, or something that is an emotional construct, or something that is just baggage that that person hasn't dealt with, it usually looks a lot closer to the person's aura. I mean, I can tell you without any shame whatsoever, given the number of car accidents I've been, I can feel where anxiety comes up from within me, because I know that's not something that's coming from the external. It's something that I can feel in my energy, body, and system. So, especially when we're driving and this stuff happening, but I can feel that this is something that's close to me. Collective stuff, this is the thing about collective stuff. It's like listening to the weather report for somewhere else. And then, even if it's next to you, you can't really do too much about it. So acknowledge it, but don't let it into your field unless you can actually do something about it. Because, this is where one of the earlier questions that was asked comes back very strongly. There is a difference between saying what's my stuff, what's not my stuff, versus we are all one. We are all one works at certain conditions of spiritual attainment and frequency. It does not work all of the time. So you can and absolutely need to also create a bubble, create a barrier for collective energies that are not going to help you, that you can't do anything about. That doesn't mean insulate yourself and don't look at what is happening in the world around you. That is not what I mean. I mean, look at what you can handle, what you can manage, and what you can act upon. Focus on actionable things. Focus on things that you can actually do something about. And that way you can actually be much more strategic in your engagement. I hope that helps. Um, mm, 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 mm. Veronica asks, mongoose? I don't think so. Tree shrews. I have never heard of a tree shrew. I will look it up. Christabel says hello, and yeah, the collective has been dank and other. Red Horse says thank you, most welcome. Kristen said, is it safe to get a reading from a referral you gave me during these times you just mentioned? Depends on which one and what job you're doing it for. Um, Email me which one that you have in mind and I'll let you know. Okay? All right. So, okay. Valerie says that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for sharing all this and that explanation examples. Most welcome. Don Edward says lots of love to you, Dr. B, your bro, the cats, and everyone here. My brother says hello back to everyone. Nahia says you give the best advice. I try. It is very hard earned life experience, but I try and I appreciate that it helps others. So having said that, wrapping all of this up, take care. Very many blessings to all of you. Lots and lots and lots of love. Remember that sessions are still ongoing. You can still book one. We might have to switch around the particular point of time, or we can do it whenever. And Tier 23 is also ongoing. So if you're interested in that, just check it out online and see how you get on. So take care. Very many blessings. Lots of love to everybody, and ciao ciao for now. Bye bye.